Hello and welcome to another session of Let's Get Real with Mona. That's me. Now we are in a new month. Can you believe it? We are in the first month of the second half of 2022. Yes, you made it. Absolutely. And that's cause for celebration. And today, I think it's the perfect topic. Well, for this month, the theme for this month is perfect considering the last 6 months and, well, the last 2 years, if we really think about it. And what we're going to be speaking about this month is critical to our well being and the flow of our abundance. And yes, the theme is stillness. So, as you're coming along, please do say hello and let me know where you are in the world and what it is you are up to. Because here's the thing, when we are in a community, when we come together, we want that connection. We want to interact with each other. And it doesn't matter whether we do this virtually or we do this in person. That's how we are. That's the essence of us, this connection. Now, I know for many of you in this community, the topic or the theme of stillness is not something that's new, but every now and again, we require to be reminded about what are the things, the practices that actually help us to turn our dreams into reality, to help us live fulfilled lives, to help us be filled with joy, to help us expand. And yes, even I, every so often, require to be reminded. Because with so much going on in the world right now, I'm sure that you want a bit of peace in your life. You want a bit of quietness, if I can use that term. Because that's what's going on. If we look at the world right now, I mean, just take South Africa, for example. We have increased levels of load shedding. So it means, like in my area, we've got electricity shortages for 3 different times in the day. Now, that can wreak havoc in people that have businesses that rely on the flow of electricity the whole day. And this is why when there's so much noise out there, we have to focus on this very important aspect of stillness. Now, the question that I asked today is, how important is it to you to find time for stillness? Now, some people have responded, and some have said that it is very important. And like I said, in my communities, there are many conscious people, if not all of you. So we understand that stillness is important, but sometimes there can be times that there may be people around that don't understand why it is important in our lives. And if we don't understand why something is important, well, then we don't make it a priority. You see, because too often we give our power away, following on from the theme of June, we give our power away to other things. And when we start standing in our power, we understand that until we make something a priority in our life, we give it the importance it deserves in our life, then that's the only time it gets done. But I think it's important for us to recap today why it is so important for us to make stillness a practice in our life, because that's just it. And you're going to hear me say this the whole month. Stillness is a practice. Everything that we do in our life is a practice. So just think about this. Did you know that when we're all in this space of thinking about when's this load shedding going to stop? When's the chaos in the world going to stop? When is my life going to get better? When am I going to stop hurrying around? When am I going to find the love of my life, the life of my love? Yes, because that's what it is. When am I going to have more money? When am I going to feel better in my body? When? It feels a bit chaotic, doesn't it? Now, when that happens, well, we go off on a tangent. We go everywhere. We go in every direction. We can go a bit crazy and loopy in that space because we are thinking so much. And I'm trying to think about who's the Buddhist monk that talks about the monkey brain, because that's what's been happening with so much in the world, with so much going on in the world. That brain of ours has gone on overdrive. I'm sure you didn't even realize how much your brain is absorbing each and every day. It's not like the past. There's just so much of information coming at us. And here's the thing. The majority of the information coming at us is not positive. So if we were being flooded with positive information, then it would have a different effect on us. But because we are being bombarded with so much of information that's coming from so many different sources that we don't know which direction we're actually going. Now, this is what causes that monkey mind. It causes us to be jumping around in all directions. And what's happening in that process is that it's negatively impacting us. Now, just think about this. I'm deliberately taking it slower today because I want you to feel the difference when I'm speaking slower, when I'm speaking calmer, versus when I'm telling you that there's things happening all around you and the whole world is exploding and the whole world is in madness and the whole world is in chaos. That's the difference for us. You see, when we are in that chaotic state, so much opportunity, so many opportunities, so much good is all around us. And we don't see it. We miss it. It'll be right there in front of us. But we haven't stopped long enough to actually see it. We haven't stopped long enough to actually receive it. We just go. And then we miss what's rightfully ours. We miss the gifts that are right there for us. We miss the gifts that have been sent and posted off to us when we asked for it. So like I said, when we're in that thought process, well, we are all over the show. We are ungrounded. We are not open channels to divine wisdom. And when we are in stillness, it helps us to be present. It helps us to have clarity. It helps us to see, not just with our physical eyes, but with our inner vision, our higher vision. And what starts happening? Well, solutions start popping in. It feels like it's happening by magic. But the truth is, we just got off the hamster wheel. We just stopped. For just a few minutes. Or it can be an hour. Or it can be 2 hours. So right now, we're still not talking about what it is, what the practice of stillness is, all the different things we can do to practice stillness. We're just talking about the concept of stillness. Because it's important for each and every one of us to understand the value that stillness brings to us and how valuable it is to us in being these ascended beings that we are. Because we are all ascending, whether we like it or not. We can do it with grace and ease, or we can be in struggle and challenge. Now, I'm sure if you're listening to this, you would love the way of ease and grace. And yes, like I say, for many of you, you may just have fallen out of practice and you just have to be reminded to get back into practice. Now, remember, being still is not an external thing. It's not something that's outside of us that we've got to go do on the outside and then we'll be still on the inside. No, being still starts from within. Even though the world is going crazy right now, you have a choice to still the inside, to still your inner self. Because even though there's chaos out there, we decide how we feel about it. We decide what we choose to take in as the truth and what we choose to take in. Well, whether we're just being fed, force-fed, or we choose what we want to have be absorbed by us. So just think about this. It's not something outside of you, it's inside of you. And we've got to cultivate that within us, right? So how are you feeling right now? How are you feeling? You're probably saying, but Mona, you don't know my life. I've got this to do. I've got that. I've got kids. I've got after-school activities. I've got work. I've got a business to run. I've got parents to take care of. I've got so many commitments. Now, yes, you do. But here's the thing. Until you make you important enough, until you make your well-being important and make that your highest priority, you will understand that the practice of stillness is not optional, it's mandatory. And this is something that we should teach children from the time that they can understand how to live this life. But wherever we are right now, we can start right now. So, why do you think we are so afraid to stand still or to be still, right? Now, what happens is that there's something going on within us. There's something going on within us that perhaps if we stay still, we're going to feel those emotions. Now, it can be positive emotions or it can be negative emotions. Now, there's many reasons. You may be wondering, but why wouldn't I want to feel a positive emotion? Now, there's many reasons why you wouldn't want to feel a positive emotion. Because we feel that it's wrong. We feel guilty to be happy. We feel guilty to feel joyful. We feel guilty to even tell people that we are okay. And then on the other hand, we are afraid that what we've buried, those deep negative emotions of grief and sadness and anger, will come up to the surface if we just stayed still for a minute. So what do? We push it down. We push it down just so that we can avoid even being still enough to confront that. Now, when I say confront, I don't mean in a negative way. I mean, like we don't even want to look at it. We don't even want to know that that is there within us. Because here's what happens when we are still. Whatever it is that's inside us, whether it's elation, whether it's joy, whether it is, us giggling, whether it's sadness, it will come up because we're different at different times. And for many people, that is a scary, scary, scary place to go to. You see, what's really happening here behind all these emotions and all these sensations that's going on that we are actually avoiding? What's really happening is that the primitive brain is kicking in. You see, when we are so busy, we are ungrounded. And when we are ungrounded, what happens is that, well, this other side of us, we've got two brains. We've got the primitive one, the amygdala, and we've got the executive one, the prefrontal cortex. And what happens is that when we start getting into states of anxiety, which then leads into stress, because just by the way, these are the drawbacks of not practicing stillness. Our brain goes into this state, and what is it looking for? Our brain, the primitive brain, believes it's in danger. And what happens? We either freeze, we run away, or we want to fight. Because there's so much going on in the world, and we haven't taken a moment to just stop and slow down. So our primitive brain jumps in, kicks in, and starts either fighting, running away, or just freezing. So, because we think that primitive brain of ours thinks that we're going to be attacked. And yes, okay, you can say, yes, in this world, what's happening right now, there's a lot of fear going on. So we may feel threatened. We may feel threatened. We may feel unsafe. So what happens? We go more into that. And what's happening while this anxiety is going on and the stress is going on? Well, further drawbacks is we end up with illnesses, our immunity drops, we put on weight, we then lose opportunities, we don't see all the good that's right in front of us. Our relationships become affected, our career, our business. And like I said, our health and well-being. We end up with things, and all it required was just for us to take a moment to pause, to stop, to just let the noise simmer down. Now, what I'm telling you is not something you haven't heard before. It's not something you're not aware of. But do you understand how important it is to your well-being? Not just your physical well-being, your spiritual well-being, your connection to source, to divine wisdom and guidance, the flow of your abundance, everything gets stopped. Because when we are running around, scurrying around, hurrying around, we are missing all the signs that tell us when to stop, when to not go down that direction, when to not jump into something, when to do something. And then we wonder, why are we sitting with bad luck? But this is how simple this practice is. It's simple, but it's very powerful. Now, what are some of the benefits of being in stillness? Well, I shared a bit about that. Clarity. How many of us want clarity right now? So many things are unfolding in the world. And we just want to have that divine connection where we are reading the signs clearly, we are hearing the wisdom correctly, and we're not just jumping and running after every shiny object. Clarity. Feeling peaceful. Well, it drops all the cortisol, the adrenaline. When we are still, we get into a state of peace. When we are still, well, to get to stillness, our heart expands. And you know how magnetic our heart is. We just go out attracting all those beautiful opportunities to us. We get to the opportunity to turn our dreams into reality. Do you know that just a few minutes of stillness in a busy day can help you to be more productive? And as for your body, your body is expected to rest. Your body is expected to lie down, but not just when you are sleeping. Your body requires, in the middle of the day, moments of stillness. And the best part is that it doesn't require too much time. Now, the whole thing about stillness is about letting go. Because when you get into that state of stillness, you're letting go of everything that happened just before you went into that space and everything that's going to be happening when you open your eyes. You are present. That's what stillness is really about. It's about being present, being here right now, not thinking about what happened and not thinking about what's going to happen, not about the past, not about the future, but being present. And that's where magic really happens. That's where manifestation, our dreams get locked into a specific code. It's in the present. It's in that stillness. Now, yes, like all of you, I've been in that space where I've had to consciously remind myself, I've had to schedule this into my diary. Because until I made stillness a priority, well, it didn't feature. And over my many, many years in the legal profession, well, I had to deliberately carve out the time for that. But we'll speak more about that another time. So, right now, at the times that we are living in, we are being called more than ever to be quiet. We are being called to reflect on our lives, where we are, where we want to go. We're being asked to connect to that wisdom that's within us. And that wisdom can only reveal itself when we are in those quiet, still spaces within. So I just wanted to leave you with that today, just a little bit. And we'll be speaking more about stillness, acts of stillness, what comes in the way of us making this a priority over the coming sessions. And I just want to see, someone commented in here, I just want to see what that was. Benefits of stillness, clarity, feeling peaceful, our heart expands. Yes, someone's just typing that in. Thank you for that. I'm sure that that's the verse, because this is it. We all want to experience an abundant life, but we sometimes forget that it's in the simplest of practices that we get to experience that abundant life. It's not in all the things we go out there to do. It's not in all the things that we're sitting on stages and we're doing. It's in those quiet moments that our biggest gifts reveal themselves to us. It's in those quiet moments that our ascension occurs. So I'd love to know what your takeaway from today's session was. I'd love to know, whether you were making stillness a priority, or if it's the first time you're even coming across this, or if it is for you to restart the practice that you may have abandoned along the way because life got in the way. So I'd love to hear from you, what resonated with you today. And are you going to take this simple practice? Remember, it's an abundance practice. It's a practice to live an abundant life. So if you want to do that, if this is important to you, start with the little things, because it's those needlepoint moves that create the big results. So until next time, ciao for now.